Did you know how you start your day is critical to the success and the trajectory of what's going to happen for the rest of your day? Now, I want to give you a little bit of context here because there was a time where the first thing that I used to do is I would wake up and I would check my phone and I would check my email or I would check my social media. And the thing that happened is as soon as I started my day and like my mind was fresh from sleeping and being in touch with my dream world, is I would wake up and I would suddenly be catapulted into someone else's agenda. And my mind would start racing with, I have to do this or I have to do that. And it would just throw me off center for the rest of my day. And it would just kind of catapult me into the busyness of what was happening out in the world. And so that I just lived like that for so long. And then I remember once I started coaching, I started to learn all about mindset and like growing as a person and all of these things. And I stumbled across this podcast called it was about the Miracle Morning. And I was like, oh, interesting. What is the Miracle Morning? And at the time I was working full time and building a business and a new mom. And, it was a wonderful book talking all about how do you start off your day and how Elrond is the author. And he was talking about, I do these 6 things, I think it was 6 things for 10 minutes every single day. And that's how I start off my day. And for me, I was just like, I mean, I can't spend an hour starting my day. I have a million things to do. And so I, kind of took it and crafted it for myself. And just over the years, I have figured out different ways to approach the morning because the way you start off your day is really going to set the tone for your day. Because if you start off the day with someone else's agenda, you really don't create that time for checking in, kind of reflection, growing to start off your day. Maybe it's like exercise to really center and anchor yourself as you go off into interacting with other people. And so it's really important to craft that morning routine. And, I've gone through lots of different ways of doing this through the years. And I think that oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we can get stuck in like, I need to have the perfect morning routine. And so you pile all these things on, and then if you don't do them, like type in the chat if you have ever been in this situation where you have this like morning routine, you're doing it and you fall off, and then you feel like a failure and you're just never going to do it and you don't have enough time. So I totally get it. I've been there. So what I often recommend to my clients is to almost make like a morning routine menu. And so some days you may wake up late. Sometimes, some nights you might have bad night's sleep, and then you wake up and you don't have as much time. So instead of being so rigid about, this is the exact step-by-step process that I need to take every morning, I create sort of a social media menu for myself. And this is what I advise my clients, because then you can sort of pick and choose. And depending on your personality, you may want to have a little bit more structure, and maybe you want to just kind of go with the flow every day. So, for me, what my morning routine looks like, again, it changes depending on the season of my life and kind of what I'm focusing on. But currently, my morning routine consists of waking up, and I always like to start off reading a book because I don't know about you, but as a busy mom with a business, reading doesn't always fall to the top of the list. So I find that if I wake up and I read a book, 5, 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit less, I'm actually able to finish maybe 2 books a month. And imagine spending 5 to 10 minutes every morning reading a book. Over the course of a year, you've read 12 to 24 books. How much can you change your life by reading 12 to 24 books? So go ahead, type in the chat, how often do you get time to read? Is that something that's on your priority? So it's, instead of having this excuse of I can't do it, you now can build in this micro time to add it in. So I read that right now. I'm reading, I think it's called The Millionaire's Mindset. All about just kind of mapping your business based on where you are on the wealth spectrum. So it's wonderful. And I've got a backlog of other books. So if you have a good book that you recommend, please share it in the comments because I'm always looking to add to my list of books. And so I do that. And then I journal. And again, there's different relationships that I have with journaling. Sometimes I'm doing a belief practice where I have a set of beliefs and I'm kind of anchoring it in, retraining my mindset. Sometimes I have a list of kind of inquisitive questions that I'm doing. And sometimes I just kind of stream of consciousness. Sometimes it's bullet points. So again, everyone has a different relationship to journaling. And sometimes I'm in the mood to write a lot of stuff. And sometimes I'm not really in the mood to write really anything at all. What I am doing right now in this current moment is I'm following Richard Hamilton's 8 questions. So in this book that I'm reading, he talks about these 8 questions that he asks himself every morning so that it kind of frames his day. So I type them into the notes on my phone and I just pull it up in the morning and I'm kind of a like get to the point kind of person. So instead of like writing out these flowery things, I kind of answer the questions. One of them is like, what am I grateful for? Why am I here? What is my intention? Why am I committed to this? So I do that and it just kind of reminds me. And every day I come up with a different answer. Sometimes there's a repeat if it's something I'm really digging into. But right now I really like that practice because it's this process of checking in, sort of, taking stock of my internal world. And that really sets the frame. And then from there, typically I'll do a workout. My workout routine's always in flux, getting back on track after COVID. So yay, yay there. So we'll do a workout and then depending on, how much more time I have before the morning routine starts with the family, I will meditate. And sometimes I will just meditate for 15 minutes and just set a timer and meditate. And then for a long time, I was listening to one of my friends and clients, Gabby Abrams. She did a wealth rewiring meditation. So I listened to that for a good, couple months, just over and over and over again, really rewiring my subconscious. And then, I start my day and that's it. And so then I start my day and it's like I've had time to grow. I've had time to check in and really kind of, set the tone for my day, kind of point myself towards my vision, and then take care of my body, take care of my mind, my soul, and then it's off to the races. And, during COVID, I would use that time in the morning to work because, when I'm now a mom and a caregiver and an entertainer on top of all the other things, I would get up at really, really early in the morning to actually do work. And then, I would put my me time later in the day, but as days can go sideways. So I would have this plan and then, stuff would come up or I'd have an urgent meeting or there's an emergency I have to deal with. And so, slowly just the like self-care would just erode of like, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not meditating. I'm not reading, all the things. So just through this constant checking in process, I realized, I really need to pause and restructure because like I'm never going to run out of things to do with my work, but I need to really take care of myself. So I restructured and kind of cleared out my morning again and put the morning routine back in. And just, I'm noticing such a difference in my mood. Just in, I'm making physical fitness a priority again. And I just feel so much better. I'm eating better. I'm sleeping better. Right. So it's when we make these subtle changes to our habits, it just really creates this huge ripple effect that transforms our lives. And I'm such a huge proponent of the compound effect of just doing a little bit every day that over time is going to build up to these huge results. So that is what my morning routine looks like right now. And like, honestly, it could be different next week. I wish I could say that I stick to the thing. So, other things that I've done just to give you some ideas are I've listened to Tony Robbins priming. And if you're listening to this replay and you're like, what is that? Just shoot me a message and I can find it and give it to you. It just kind of flowed out of me, so I don't have the link handy. And then for those of you that are listening right now, just share in the comments, what is it that you do in your routine? Or maybe you don't have a morning routine at all and it's time to shift one, which I can talk about a little bit after I give you some ideas. So the Tony Robbins priming is great. You can listen to a guided meditation or visual meditation. Maybe you have a different kind of journaling process that you may want to do. Maybe you're working on like a coursework and there's some sort of deep inner work or kind of creative stuff that you need to do. Again, I've done that. I can get lost in a creative cave and then just never come out of it. Like I have to be dragged out of it. So I don't like to be interrupted in the creative cave. So I have to carve out time other times so that I make this me time a priority. Otherwise, I'm not going to stop working. And so, yeah, so I'm trying to think, what else have I done? Fitness, you could take a walk, you could do yoga, you could connect with other people. There's lots of different things that you can do. You can read multiple books. So, if you're just getting started, I recommend setting your alarm maybe 10 minutes earlier, right? 5 if you're like super, super like, I don't want to do this. But I would set your alarm 5-10 minutes earlier and just pick one thing. Maybe you read a book for 5-10 minutes, right? You can also read podcasts. There was a time I was reading I was listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks. So I would listen to an Abraham Hicks video. Sometimes I'll listen to that when I'm driving. So again, it's really about you, where you are, what you want to work on, and then pick the thing. And then also kind of having grace with yourself of, Maybe today you have 3 minutes for a morning routine. Maybe you have 20 minutes. Maybe you have 2 hours. So I think that as entrepreneurs, we can be very strict of like, oh my God, I have to do all the things. And if I don't do it for this amount of time, I'm a failure and it's not worth doing. And that's just rubbish, to be honest. So give yourself the grace of really having the intention that leads you forward. Of I have this intention of growing myself, connecting, really connecting spiritually, grounding myself, and centering myself for the day. And that could, again, it could be 3 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 20 minutes. And then, again, day to day, it could change. And so often what I recommend to my clients that are like, I don't know what to do, is just bullet point or just make a list of all the things that maybe light you up for how to grow your mind, what you connect with, and just write it down. And this becomes your morning menu. And then if you ever run out of ideas, you're like, what do I want to do this morning? Maybe you do it the night before and then wake up the next day and you're like, I'm going to do this. But then you have this rolling list and you can, talk to friends, get some ideas. And again, you can have seasons. Maybe there's a season where you're focusing on a meditation for, 20 days, 21 days, 30 days. Maybe you have a season where you're focusing on a yoga challenge or something like that. So it's a great way to find these time containers for growing your mind, body, and soul in the morning, and putting them into your calendar. So that would be my recommendation. And, if you're just starting out, like I said, just use a few minutes, right? And then you can expand it out. But I guarantee if you make this a habit and make a commitment, that you will notice such a dramatic shift in your mental well-being and your physical well-being and just how you show up. And the reason that this adding some version of your practice to your daily life is so critical is because energy is everything, and who you be is going to attract people into your life. So if you wake up and you're like rushed and harried and you're getting the kids to school and you're throwing stuff on and you're getting into the car, or just getting them ready for school, wherever you are with like things opening up, or you're checking your email and now you're off on someone's agenda and your mind is spinning out of like, oh my God, I got to do this thing and that thing. And oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You just have this frenetic, urgent energy about you that is now radiating out into the world. Whereas if you carve out this space for yourself and you're just like, no, I'm going to have this time to ground and be and center, and you're just going to start your day off in a different energetic way. And by doing so, as you go forth throughout your day, you're going to just have a different level of vibrational interaction with people, right? You may be a little bit calmer, you may be a little bit more forgiving or have more grace with yourself. And so that, again, the compound effect of having that habit is going to trickle throughout the rest of your day. And then you're going to end your day higher and start the next day higher. And it's just going to send you in a positive trajectory. So that is why it is critical to your success. So go ahead. My advice to you, and my challenge to you would be if you're just starting out, pick one thing and carve out 5 minutes to do it. If you are, an expert at this, you're doing it all the time, maybe add another thing or mix up your routine, or just share the message that this is good for you to someone in your life that needs to hear it. So go ahead. If you're listening to the replay, type #replay in the comments below. And if you, as you get to this, share, 1 to 3 things that you either want to add into your morning routine or you're already doing, so that whoever is looking in the comments can pull from that and put it on their list. So again, Jordan Duvall here, go-to creative director for the Bougie Woo Tribe, to help you build a brand from the inside out. And I hope that you go forth and prosper with a wonderful morning routine. Have a great day.